Hi there, this is Harry and welcome back to my English lessons where I try to help you to get a better understanding of English. So, what are we going to talk about? Well, often when I'm teaching students, they fall into the old habit of using what I call double negatives. So, two negative words in the one sentence, and it's a definite, I'm going to use two negatives now, it's a definite no-no, okay? So, it's a definite no-no. Don't use double negatives. For example, I haven't seen nothing. Yeah, so that's absolutely bad English and you shouldn't use it. The obvious option is I haven't seen anything. So negative with a positive or positive with a negative. But it's something that happens quite often and it comes up quite often. So let me try and explain to you the rationale and the reasoning behind it. Okay, so as I said, double negatives are not something we like to use. Occasionally they are used, but in very, very infrequent situations and also in very, very informal situations, almost like slang. Yeah, so one expression you might often hear or come across in a movie or a book is, you ain't seen nothing yet. You ain't seen nothing yet. And when you look at it written down here, you'll see that there are two negatives, but it's actually quite acceptable. You hear it in songs, you ain't seen nothing yet, or you'll hear it in movies, and it is allowed in those situations and only in those situations, but we wouldn't use it normally in spoken English. You ain't seen nothing yet. Okay, so what's the thinking behind it? Well, a double negative is usually defined as two negative words that appear in the same sentence. And actually what it results in is a positive, okay? So two negatives make a positive, okay? So if you're getting confused with that, well, try and remember your mathematics. So if somebody asks you to multiply -2 by -3, the answer actually will be +6. That sounds a little bit strange, but one minus multiplied by another minus figure, so -2 multiplied by -3 will actually give you +6, and that would be your answer. So if we apply that mathematical thinking to our English, it's exactly the same. Two negatives will result in a positive, okay? But we don't use it in spoken English. So let me give you a little example. Let's say I made the statement, I have nothing, okay? I have nothing. Nothing is the negative word. I have is positive, but the fact that we use nothing in the sentence turns it into a negative, okay? I have nothing, meaning I have no money, or I have nothing to give you, or I have nothing to do with that, something like that, okay? So it's a negative in the sentence that turns it into a negative, even though I have is positive. Nothing turns I have from positive into negative. Okay, so we can't say I haven't nothing, okay? I have nothing. So if I could use it as a two negatives, I might say I do not have nothing. Okay, so that's your two negatives in the sentence. I do not have nothing. And remember what I said about the mathematics. -2 multiplied by -3 will equal +6. So here, I do not have nothing. Do not, one negative, nothing, second negative, one negative multiplied by the second negative turns it into the positive. So in actual fact, what that sentence means, I do not have nothing, means I have something. Yeah, I have something. And that's exactly what we should say. We should look at the positive. I have something. Okay, not I do not have nothing. Okay, so avoid at all costs, avoid those double negatives. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to give you some examples of sentences where we use the double negative, and then I'm going to put them into the correct format. Okay, so the first one will be the double negative. I don't know nobody who's coming, for example, to a party. I don't know nobody who's coming. What you should be saying is, I know nobody who's coming, or I don't know anybody who's coming. Okay, so make sure you have a positive and a negative, or a negative and a positive, and that would be perfect English. Another example. I don't have no time for that. I don't have no time for that. What it should be is I don't have any time for that, okay? Or I have no time for that. I have no time for that. So negative, positive, or positive and a negative. I can get no satisfaction. Well, if you're into the Rolling Stones, you'll probably recognize that from one of the very, very early songs of Mick Jagger. I can't get no satisfaction. But it's okay for him to say it, but not okay for you to say it. So what you should say is, I can't get any satisfaction, or I got no satisfaction if you were making a complaint, for example, in a restaurant or a bar or wherever it might be. So I can't get any satisfaction, or I got no satisfaction. But only if you're Mick Jagger, you can say, I can't get no satisfaction. But I'm not Mick Jagger, and I'm sure he's not listening to this particular podcast or subscribing to my channel, so we just have to do without him. Another example. You ain't seen nothing yet. And another line from another song, I can't remember which song this is, but it's you ain't seen nothing yet. And usually when this song was sung, it's something like you ain't seen nothing yet, baby. You ain't seen nothing yet. So the song goes. But in this case, when we say you ain't seen nothing yet, what we really mean to say is you haven't seen anything yet. You haven't seen anything yet. And it's much better English. Don't get confused by the words of the song. Enjoy the song by all means. Try and sing it much better than I did, I hope. But you ain't seen nothing yet should be you haven't seen anything yet. I can't find my keys nowhere. I can't find my keys nowhere. It's not from a song. It's just somebody comes in and they're looking for the car keys. I can't find my keys nowhere. I cannot find my keys anywhere. I cannot find my keys anywhere. Okay, so nowhere becomes anywhere. That negative, that second negative, put it into a positive, then you have one negative. I cannot find my keys anywhere, one positive. Perfect English. Okay, again, avoid at all costs those double negatives. She never goes with nobody. She never goes with nobody. Again, you're getting hopefully the hang of it now. She never goes with anybody, or she goes with nobody. Yeah. So if you're wondering why daughter or friend doesn't go to the cinema, she never goes with anybody. She always goes on her own. She never goes with anybody. She always goes on her own. Or she goes with nobody. She prefers to go on her own. Either will do. One negative, one positive, one positive, one negative. And then finally, all the witnesses, so if we're talking about a detective story, all the witnesses claimed that they didn't see nobody. All the witnesses claimed that they didn't see nobody should read, all the witnesses claimed that they didn't see anybody. They didn't see anybody. Okay, so avoid those double negatives. Make the sentence sound much more effective and much, much more professional. Like all English, there tends to be a few exceptions. So let me just give you a few exceptions in relation to this aspect of double negatives. They can be permitted if the intention is to make a positive statement. So let me just read you an example. It wasn't very expensive, so talking about some dress or a pair of shoes, it wasn't very expensive, but it certainly didn't cost nothing. So here you mean it certainly cost something. It was actually money, but it wasn't as expensive as I thought. So again, it wasn't very expensive, but it certainly didn't cost nothing. Okay, it means that you didn't get it for nothing. You did have to pay, but not what you had thought you might have to pay. So we can use it when the intention is to turn it into a positive. Okay, or let's give you another example. When I said I didn't want a lot of fuss about my birthday, I didn't mean no fuss. Yeah. Okay, so when I said I didn't want any fuss about my birthday, I didn't mean no fuss. So here we're using two negatives, but in fact we can use it because the intention was for it to be a positive. So what you're really saying is, when I said I didn't want any fuss for my birthday, I meant a little bit, but not a big party or a big hurrah. I wanted something, perhaps something in the family. So you wanted something, but not the big, flamboyant, expensive celebration. Okay, so you can, in that situation, both of the examples I've given you, you can use the double negatives because the intention was to turn them into a positive. And that's the type of exception that we're talking about when we mention them. Another way in which we can use double negatives is where we perhaps use not and then we follow it with a word with a prefix like IR or non, one of those. So let me give you a little example of that. He wasn't irresponsible about his duties. He wasn't irresponsible about his duties means he was responsible. He was very responsible about his duties. This gemstone is not uncommon. Okay, is not uncommon. So not negative, uncommon could be negative. What it means is this gemstone is common. You see it everywhere. Okay, and finally, the results are not inconclusive. The results are not inconclusive means that they are conclusive. We did get information from the results. So in those situations, you're using not, a negative word, with the negative of an adjective by adding one of those prefixes that we've looked at in other examples. Okay, so you'll see them written on the screen here. So just study them for a while and just to understand what they mean. And if you have any problems, come back to me and I'll try and explain it to you again. So let's just look at a quick rule of thumb when we want to use anything. And anything also includes words with any, like anybody or anyone. Okay, so we can use them in questions. Is there anything I can do for you? Is there anyone you want me to call? Is there anybody you know suitable for this job? So we can use it in that context, okay? And if we want to use them with statements that include not or no, yeah? I don't know anything about it, yeah? I don't know anybody that would be suitable. I don't know anyone that would be able to answer the question. Okay, so you can use it in that context. And if you want to use nothing, well, then we can use it in statements where there's no other negative word. There's nothing I can do. There is nothing I can add. There is nothing more I can tell you. Okay, so use those as a rule of thumb. Okay, so what we've basically been talking about are double negatives and impressing hopefully upon you the fact that double negatives are a definite no. We don't use them. There are exceptions and I've covered those hopefully in the lesson that you'll be able to go back over them and you'll see it on the screen. Again, if you don't understand it or you don't follow it, come back to me and I'll try to explain it again and give you a few more examples. Okay, but double negatives, occasionally you'll see them, you will definitely hear them in songs, you'll definitely hear them in movies like You Ain't Seen Nothing Yet, okay? But we don't use them in speech because they sound wrong, they give a bad impression, and they're really quite negative. Okay, so double negatives. Thanks a lot for listening. As I said before, if you want to subscribe to the channel, please do so. If you want to listen to me on the podcast, you can do so also. And if you want to contact me, well, you can contact me on www.englishlessonbyskype.com. Very happy to hear from you. Very happy to talk to you. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoy this. I hope you enjoy future podcasts and videos. Join me again soon.